Okay, this was our introduction to congruent triangles. So this was beginning for congruent triangles. So in order for triangles to be congruent, we need 3 pairs of angles congruent and 3 pairs of sides that are congruent. For 1 through 4, they've marked everything for us, and we're just finding what's going to be congruent to what. So BC is congruent to what? That's what they're asking. There's 2 ways to do this. BC has 2 hash marks, so it's going to be congruent to whatever else has 2 hash marks. That's going to be ST. The other way is BC was the last 2 letters here. So BC is going to be congruent to the last 2 ST, which is the last 2 letters there. Okay, so you can either look at the diagram or look at the names that they're giving us. Okay, angle QPR. QPR, that's this angle right here. It has 1 arc. So we look for what else has 1 arc. That's going to be angle URP. Okay, this angle right here. The other way we can do is you can look at the name. So QPR. So it started here and went QPR. So that would, Q would correspond with U, P would correspond with R, and R would correspond with P. So that would be angle URP. Okay, and that's all we do for 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Okay, we have angle J has 3 arcs. So we look for the other one with 3 arcs, and that's angle G. The other way is J corresponds with G. Over here, we're looking for KL. So KL is the first 2. It's also the first 2 in the next one. So KL is part of both. So it's going to be KL is congruent to KL. KL is part of both triangles. It's congruent to itself. That's the reflexive property. Okay, 5 through 9, we want to mark and name angles and sides for each of the triangles that are congruent. Okay, so we have to use the name here. So IK are the first 2 letters. Okay, that's congruent to KC. So we know that IK is congruent to KC. Okay. We have JK, which is the last 2 letters, is congruent to CB. So we put 2 hash marks in both of those. So JK is congruent to CB. And then we have IK. I'm sorry. What did I do first? I meant IJ. Here, I'm sorry. IJ were the first 2. And then KC were the first 2. And then JK and CB. This doesn't look like a C. Okay, and then IK is congruent to KB. Right, the first and the last, first and the last. Okay, now we look at angles. So we have angle I here. I is going to correspond with K. Okay, we can't call it angle K though, so we have to call it angle BKC. So angle BKC. Right, our vertex is in the middle, so K is the vertex of that angle, so it's in the middle. Okay, another angle here is J. Okay, what's congruent to angle J? Well, J corresponds with C, so we can put angle C. And our last angle here is angle IKJ. Again, we can't name it K because we don't know what we're talking about. There's multiple Ks. So we have to use 3 letters, and K is the vertex, so it's in the middle. So IKJ is congruent to angle B. We didn't put our hash marks here. IK was congruent to KB. Okay, so there's our 3 pair of congruent angles, 3 pair of congruent sides. Okay, let's look at number 6. So triangle VWX is congruent to triangle FGH. That means we have 3 pair of congruent sides and 3 pair of congruent angles. So VW is the first 2 letters. Okay, that's going to be congruent with FG. So we can say WV is congruent with FG. We also know WX is congruent with GH. So WX is congruent with GH. Okay, and then we know VX is congruent with FH. Okay, and then our angles, we know angle V is going to correspond with angle F. We know angle W is going to correspond with angle G. So angle V and angle F, angle W and angle G, and then angle X is congruent to angle. Okay, and that would be number 6. Let's go to the other side, 7 and 8. Okay, number 7 here, so IJ is congruent to JI. Okay, and then JK is congruent to IS. So JK is congruent to IS. And then IK is congruent to JS. Okay, and then we know angle. Okay, I'm just going to pick angles from this triangle. So angle IJK, and we just want to go in the same order here. So IJK, okay, so it's going to be angle JIS. Okay, JIS. Okay, then we can go angle JKI. Just move one down. So angle JKI is going to be congruent with angle IS. J, I, SJ, and then we can go one more down. Angle KIJ is congruent with angle SJI. We have 2 pairs of congruent angles, 2 pairs of congruent sides. Okay, the next one here. So we have TU and TL. So TU is congruent to TL. We have UV is congruent to LM. Okay, and then first and last is TV, and that's going to be congruent to TM. So angle U is going to be congruent to angle L, and angle V is going to be congruent to angle M. Okay, and then angle VTU is going to be congruent to angle MTL. We have 3 pairs of congruent angles, 2 pairs of congruent sides. Number 9 here, I'm just going to put the marks for number 9. Okay. So FG is congruent to EC. GH is congruent to CH. And FH is congruent to EH. Okay, so this one, even though they're connected, it's rotated. Okay, it's like comes out of that one. Angle F would correspond with E, so it would be those 2 angles. Angle G is going to correspond with C, so it's those 2 angles. And angle H in the first triangle is going to correspond with H in the second triangle. And we could write those all out, but we're not going to spend the time. Okay, then 10 through 12 is we want to name the congruent triangles using the information we have. So there's 6 different ways we can name one of the triangles. So we can take this triangle right here, name it JIK, triangle JKI, triangle KIJ, triangle KJI. All right, so 6 different ways. JIK, JKI, IJK, IKJ, KJI, KIJ. Point is, There's 6 ways, but you pick one, whatever you want. I'm going to do triangle JKI. Okay. So at J here, we have one arc. So when we look at the other triangle, we're looking for one arc in the other triangle. So J in this triangle is going to correspond with K in the other triangle. Okay. K in this first triangle has 2 arcs, so that's going to correspond with J in the other triangle. I has 3 arcs, so that's going to correspond with N. Okay. And again, we could have written this 6 different ways. It's just wherever J is, K needs to be. Wherever K is, J needs to be. And wherever I is, N needs to be. Okay, over here, we can name the first triangle PQR. Right, 5 other ways to do it. I'm just going to go PQR. So at 1, so P is going to correspond with T. Q is going to correspond with R. Right, Q in this triangle is going to correspond with R in the other triangle. And then R in this triangle is going to correspond with V in the other triangle. Okay, we got 2 more. Okay, I'm going to name the top one triangle VFD. Okay, so VFD. So V has in the top triangle has 1 arc, so it's going to correspond with V in the other triangle because that has 1 arc. F has 2 arcs, so that's going to correspond with X. And then D has 3 arcs, so that's going to correspond with W. Okay, and then 13 here. I'm going to name the first one LVW. Okay, so L has 1 arc in this triangle. It's also got 1 arc in that triangle, so L is going to correspond with L. V has 2 arcs, so it's going to correspond with M, which also has 2 arcs. Then W has 3 arcs, so it's going to correspond with K. So triangle LVW is congruent to triangle LMK. Okay, and I think that's it for this worksheet.